Welcome back to Ozarks Tonight. For 50 years, the Springfield Symphony Orchestra has entertained elementary school students hoping to pique an interest in the arts. For the first time, though, that event will be held virtually this year. Music director and conductor Kyle Wiley Pickett is here to tell us more about how the symphony is adapting during the pandemic. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with the annual Youth People's Concert. Tell us why it's so important for the symphony to do this every year.
You know, the Young People's Concert, it's really one of the most important things we do every year. As you said, we've been doing this for 50 years. So obviously long before I was with the symphony, before I was even born, they started doing this outreach to students. And, you know, I think what is critical about it is it gives so many young people their first exposure, sometimes their only exposure to a live performance with a symphony orchestra. And of course, this year with the pandemic, we can't do that. We're not doing field trips for students, and for safety reasons, we can't do that. So we had to improvise and come up with a new way to reach students this year.
So how many children typically get to see the symphony every winter?
You know, it's usually somewhere close to 5,000, you know, between 3,000 and 5,000, depending on the year. We usually do at least 2, sometimes 3 performances. You know, we have gone down to Branson and performed down there, and then every year we perform here in Springfield, and we do one show that's for the 4th graders in Springfield public schools, and then we do another performance that's for the rural schools and homeschoolers, and each one usually has, you know, at least a couple thousand kids in there, and it's our goal to try to reach all of the 4th graders in the region for that live performance. And
tell us why that age specifically.
You know, for a lot of time, I mean, for decades, 4th grade is usually the age when students choose an instrument to play. So if they're going to go on and play a wind instrument in band, whether they're going to pick up a string instrument and play an orchestra, whether they're going to sing in choir, that's the time when that happens. And so I like to give them a real exposure to all of the instruments in the orchestra, and hope that they find some inspiration to choose one of those instruments and learn it. You know, whether they go on and be a professional musician, that's really kind of beside the point. We want them to enjoy the process of music making and music learning. And so, you know, it's always my hope to inspire them that way.
And you guys have been inspiring, like you said, thousands of kids every year. But this year, with it being virtual, there's the potential to reach even more. So how is this going to work?
Yeah, it's true. You know, I mean, as I said, for me, one of the most important aspects is to bring kids to see this as a live performance. But since it's just not possible, what we've done is we filmed one of our early concerts this year, where we were playing the Carnival of the Animals, which is Camille Saint-Saëns's wonderful piece that he wrote for kids, and it's familiar to almost everybody. And so we filmed that, and then I am just completing a video version of that piece that will be narrated by a child narrator who talks about the various animals that are portrayed by the orchestra and the instruments. And so we're putting that together as a virtual concert experience that then we will put up online and make available to teachers to show to their classrooms. And because of that, because we're not limited in the number of people who could fit in the hall, we can make it available to all teachers in our region and the regions around us, and they can show it to their students as a virtual concert.
So is this something that teachers will need to register for, or do they just have access to it by getting in touch with you all?
We are reaching out to all of the schools that we normally serve, and of course that's the Springfield Public Schools and also the rural schools. And all the teacher needs is the link to the video, which we will provide to them, and then they can show it anytime they want.
Now, for the orchestra itself, you all continue to perform during the pandemic, and you're just getting started with the new season as well. How do you make it work?
We are. Actually, we're in the middle of our season. We're at the beginning of our 2021 portion, but our season follows the school year. So we've actually been performing since September. And, we have done a lot of research. We've followed the research that comes out of the various university studies and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. We've been in touch with our health departments, and we've taken a lot of measures, more than we can talk about here. We have 9 pages of protocols and safety measures that we've put into place. But the bottom line is that we keep our players socially distanced on the stage, so they're spread out at 6 to 10 foot intervals. Everybody is masked. All of the wind instruments have bell covers to collect any aerosolized particles. Everybody wears, even the wind players wear masks with little slits so they can put their mouthpieces in those slits. Our audience is spaced out. We added second performances so that we can spread our audience out. We've added a streaming option so that people can watch our concert live streamed on the night of the performance. And we've shortened our programs a little bit to keep us gathered for a slightly shorter period of time. And while you can never get to zero risk right now, we feel like that we have really brought the risk level down to the point where it's reasonable and safe for us to be performing. And we're so fortunate and so grateful that we are able to be performing these days.
I know a lot of people are glad to see you still doing it too. What's the best way for people to get information on when the symphony is performing?
It's always best these days to go to our website, which is springfieldmosymphony.org. And don't forget the Mo, otherwise you'll get to a different Springfield Symphony. springfieldmosymphony.org. And then that has the latest, because of course the numbers that can gather change, from month to month, sometimes from week to week. And that will tell you how to get a streaming ticket if you want to watch online, how to get a ticket to our matinee performance. That's a place for teachers to go if they need to get in touch with us to find out about the educational outreach, the Young People's Virtual Concert. It's just the resource for people to find out all of what the symphony is doing these days.
Fantastic. All right, Kyle Wiley-Pickett, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much.
We will be right back with more Ozarks Tonight. Keep it here.